Yeah, in a chaotic season for Chelsea, and I suppose in one where, to a certain degree, the manager's tactics have been questioned, but I think he's in a bit of a tangled situation. It is one that has actually suited Cole Palmer, and he's risen above it all. I think evidently there's an element of, well, I mean, first of all, just because of what City were as a team, it was difficult to break through. But equally, I think there's an element of him maybe benefiting from just a slightly greater freedom that Pochettino would give a player like that rather than Guardiola. And he's gone to another level. I mean, it's one of those moves that worked for everyone, and it certainly worked for Cole Palmer. And yeah, I mean, it's we've said this so many times now. The price surprised people, but I think the impact surprised people even more. I mean, everyone knew he was a good player, but to come straight in like this and not just go from someone who was a potential talent for Chelsea, but a difference maker, and yeah, one of the players of the season, and has to be in one, and I suppose the widespread teams of the season.
Jason, do you want to pick up that point that Miguel made about the way that he is flourishing under Pochettino in a way that he might not have done under Guardiola?
Well, I think Guardiola has a record of allowing players to leave who want to leave. And I was in the Super Cup in Athens at the start of the season, and it was quite interesting because obviously Cole Palmer scored, and we all thought, well, this is going to be Cole Palmer's season at Manchester City. But afterwards, Guardiola is very, very lukewarm about Palmer and his prospects at City. And we've seen in the past that he's allowed players to leave. I think it was one of those deals that worked for City at the time, partly to help them with their own PSR compliance, and that they can bank all this money for an academy player. It's pure profit. It seemed like a big fee, 40 odd million pounds for him. And obviously it worked for Cole Palmer. I think Palmer was quite impatient. I think he wanted to play. He wanted to be in the first team. I don't think Guardiola could give him those guarantees. So I think he was looking for the right move for him. And he saved Chelsea's season. It's almost single-handedly. He is the shining hope for their season. Obviously, they've got the FA Cup semi-final on Saturday. He has been the one bright spark in what has been a pretty dismal campaign, considering how much money they've spent. And actually, he's looking an absolute bargain again at a club that's spent £1 billion and wasted an awful lot of that money. Suddenly, they've got this diamond on their hands who's doubled, or probably trebled his value already in this last season. But I think the move worked for everyone, although I think if you ask City, I didn't think they expected Palmer to be quite this good, and probably if he was going to be this good, they would have probably fought even harder to keep him.